everybody. Adam Rosen, Point MC, coming to you live from Omaha. It's been a weird day. It's been a weird over 24 hours. Shoot a video and send it out to you because I said I would explain what has happened between Saturday night and today, right now. I want to preface this that this is to be taken whichever way you want to. I just feel I need to get this out. It's something I'm dealing with. It kind of, for the first time, it's a new thing that I'm venturing into for the first time. So you take it for what you want to. You can take it with you into your daily life, or if not, I mean, it'll just be a little story. Now it is going to be a little long. Quite a lot of stuff happened on Saturday that altered my perception of just life in general, the way to go about handling things that are going on in my life. So for those of you that don't know, over the past year, I have dealt with financial issues. It's been tough. I have been sort of bobbing up and down on the surface of completely broke and fairly okay. It's one way of putting it. I won't go into the details of why this financial situation has hit me so hard, or any of that. Those who are close to me know why I've been in dire straits and why I've reached out. Something I usually, over the past 40 years, I usually don't do. I don't reach out and ask for help for money or anything. I may reach out to see if people want to hang out. I may reach out for advice on serious matters, but as far as finances, within the past 2 or 3 years, I've reached out more. I've been willing to ask for help, and I've gotten it from some wonderful people. And Saturday, something happened that, as far as the way I've been approaching finances and approaching money, and I'm going to share that with you. So, to begin this story, on Saturday, I was privileged and fortunate to watch the Royal Rumble, and it was a really, really good time. We hung out, we had food, we joked around, we watched the Rumble, we all kind of made our little guesses as to what was going to happen next, and watched some great storytelling and had a great time. At the end of the event, I checked my phone because I was worried about my rent posting. Now I have a plan through an app. I'm not going to mention here, but it's a plan to try and help me pay my rent in increments rather than all at once. Since savings anymore, I don't have a savings account or maintenance anymore. Sorry, my computer's giving me problems. My inheritance from when my mother passed away has long since gone. And since January of 2024, I have been at a zero balance. So I had to set up a payment plan through my apartment complex that works while I am currently working as a member of the Jewish Federation of Omaha under a minimum wage salary, but that is neither here nor there. So I checked to see if my rent had been posted yet, and I noticed that I was going to be $5 short. $5. Because the energy bill had increased and the taxes had gone up a little bit. So I asked at the party if anybody could send me $5, please, to pay off the final balance. Basically the way the plan works is if you pay the first half of your rent on the first day it's due, then you're given 2 weeks to pay the other half of the rent. So I was $5 short. So someone at the party sent me $5 through Venmo. And in kind of the rush to pay my rent and make sure everything was all right, I forgot that there were transfer fees from Venmo into my account. So I was still I think $1.25 short. Something like that. Yeah, because with my account, every time my paycheck comes in, it goes straight to bills. It goes straight to a portion of it saving for my rent, and usually for about a week and a half to 2 weeks, my bank account is in the negative. Thankfully, over the past year, I have been blessed to have good people to help me out, both at work and in my personal life. Giving here or there whenever they can, offering food. The Jewish community is very giving and very loving when it comes to food, as we all know. If you've ever eaten at a Jewish person's house, you know they are very, very giving with food. So for food and supplies, I've been kind of reaching out to people and trying to find a way. But at the Royal Rumble or party, I still realized that I had some money that still needed to be paid in order for this portion of the rent. And I was a little embarrassed, so I didn't want to ask anyone else at the party because I'd already asked out. So I decided to go on social media and ask if anyone would be able to pay the balance, the remainder of it. I looked for $5 again. $5 to me is it's kind of like the dollar tip or the $1 or $2 here, take $1 or $2, which my parents used to do. If they would see somebody who was in dire straits, or somebody who couldn't quite, you know, didn't quite have money to cover for, a portion of dinner or whatever, they give you a couple bucks. Here, it's $1 or $2. There's a 5. Take it. So on my online post, I asked for $5, and a person reached out to me, a fan who had seen me wrestle, who was followed me on social media, and said, I got you, and sent me more than $5. And I was very humbled, because I feel bad when I have to ask for money. I have tried to be a self-sustaining person for about as long as I can. It just seems with the prices going up and the financial cost of this world, at everything, the belt strap is a little tighter, and it's a little harder for me to make ends meet. So I was humbled, and I said, thank you very much, and I appreciate it. And I put a post on social media afterwards, after receiving the payment and paying my rent, to make sure everything was covered, saying thank you very much, it's been paid, you don't need to send anything, I'll pay you back as soon as I can. And as soon as I posted that, a friend of mine from college sent me more money, and I immediately wanted to, no, I've got it, I want to send it back. And then another friend sent money, and another, and I wanted to send it all back and say, no, I don't need it, I don't want it. I usually feel bad about taking more than my bounty. That just, it makes me feel like I was being shady. I asked for $5 and I get way more than that back. And I thank the people who sent me money, and I in my post I pointed to it and said that I would pay you back at my earliest opportunity. So after paying my rent, I started to breathe a little easier. And it was at the tail end of the party, and I kind of looked around the room. The friend who had taken me there was their house, so I didn't want to impose on a ride home. It was a good night on Saturday. It was cloudy, but it was warm. It wasn't the freezing kind of ups and downs that we've had. It's been sporadic in January, usually, for Nebraska. So I decided to walk home and said goodbye to everybody. Thank you very much. I had a great time. We'll see you later. And I started to walk home. And in walking home, in between my friend's house and my apartment, there's a graveyard. And it's the graveyard where my mother, my father, and a number of other members of my family are buried. And I passed by the graveyard and I realized that the gates were open. So I walked into the graveyard and decided to visit my mother and father. in their gravesite. And I sat at their gravesite for maybe 3 minutes, 2 or 3 minutes. I didn't want to stay long because it's not that I don't mind. I really don't mind being in graveyards at night, as long as I feel comfortable, as long as I feel safe. It's fine. There are some times at night when you walk by a graveyard or those hairs in the back of your neck raise up, and you don't want to be in that space. But I sat with my mom and dad, and I kissed their headstones, and I talked to them about the state of the world and the state of this country, and I said, as much as I miss you, I regret, I'm really happy that you aren't here to see the things that have happened to this country. My mother in particular would probably be very devastated at the things. She would be in an outrage. I know. I grew up in a red, white, and blue house with a red door and American flags all over it. For those of you that know how I grew up and where I grew up, it's not a joke to say our house was covered in Americana. We bled red, white, and blue. So, knowing everything that's happened in the country in the past, in recent memory, I think my mother would be most upset. But I told them I think things are okay. We're working on it. We're getting better. And take care, and I'll come and visit you again soon. And I started to walk out of the cemetery. And for a strange reason, I can't quite tell you, as I'm heading towards the gate of the cemetery, I decided since I'm all alone, to make myself feel more comfortable and to make myself feel a little better about being in a graveyard at night, that I would say good night to the rest of the souls in the graveyard. And I said that, as you know, we're going through dark times, and if I could ask any spirits out there to bless me with any blessings you can give, and give me the strength for what's going to happen in the future. And it's weird. I felt peace in walking out of the graveyard. And my walk from my friend's house home was originally going to be about a little less than 2 hours. So I had some walking to do. And I continued walking towards my apartment, and I passed by a gas station. And sitting outside the gas station was looked to be a homeless man who had a cart full of disheveled clothes and trash items and a few shoes. And he looked cold. And I thought to myself, I had just received a little bit of money from my friends who had helped me. Why not do something small to pay it forward, to give something back? And it seemed like he was cold and needed someone to talk to for a minute. And the least I could do was see if I could help this man at the gas station. So I walked up, introduced myself. I said, is there anything I can get you? Like a sandwich or a coffee or some donuts or something? Like what can I do to help you? And he asked if I had a cigarette. Now I've been a lifelong lifelong smoker. This is not one of those posts. We're not going to get into the merits and the merits of not smoking or the debate on whether I should quit or not. I've been smoking since I was about 13 years old. It's my one vice. I don't see myself giving it up anytime soon. Sorry to the people who would love to see me quit. It is too far gone in me. It is much harder to quit that than alcohol. And I've quit alcohol for 14 years, so I hold on to my one vice. But he said, do you have a cigarette? I said, well, what's your brand? And he told me his brand was Camel non-filtered cigarettes. Okay, fine, deal. I've had enough to cover that, as well as a pack of cigarettes for myself and an energy drink. So I went inside, purchased the energy drink and the 2 packs of cigarettes, and I gave him his pack, and we sat outside, and I drank a little bit of my energy drink, and I smoked a cigarette with him, and we talked. I was wearing that night, I have these Adidas Stan Smith white and green shoes, but they're special editions. They have Kermit the Frog on them. So on the back end of the shoe, it says, it ain't easy on one foot and being green on the other. It ain't easy being green. And one of the tongues has Stan Smith and the other one has Kermit the Frog on it. They're really, I saw them at a mall a number of years ago and I had to get them. It just, something about them spoke out to me. And he really liked the shoes. And I said, there's something about wearing them where I every day I wear them, I think about 2 things. I think about the saying on the back, it ain't easy being green. It ain't easy being different. And the other thing I think about is the rainbow connection. He's like, well, what's the rainbow connection? And I looked at him and I said, someday we'll find it. The rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. He goes, me too, buddy. Me too. And we finished our cigarettes. I shook his hand. We said goodbye. And I kept walking down the road. And I don't know if it was the lateness of the hour, if you've been up for a long time and you've been either stressing about things or you just can't seem to sleep. Me personally, when I can't sleep, I'll go on a walk, and if it's been a long day, I'll talk to myself. I will. I'll get things out that I'm feeling or I'm thinking, and walk down the road. And I probably look like a complete goof and crazy person walking down the street talking to myself. But I started talking to myself, and I said, maybe, with all this going on, it felt really good to help someone, even in the smallest increment, to get him a pack of cigarettes or to offer up a little bit of the blessing that I'd been given, the boon that I'd received from very good people, that was more than the bounty I asked. And it felt good. And I remember saying to myself that it feels good to be the light in someone else's darkness. To use a little bit of the blessing that you receive, and to be able to lift up somebody that you see having a problem or an issue, or taking a piece of that blessing and passing it to the next person. It felt really good. I'd been walking for about, I'd say almost an hour. And I'm heading on, for those of you that know Omaha, I'm heading on 84th, which comes to a screeching halt at West Center Road. And you can either drive into a neighborhood, or you can take a right towards the hospital, or you could take a left and follow it west, to West Omaha. So I'm almost at that junction, that little split. And I look down. And what I saw just, it made me start laughing. Like, really kind of, the Netflix loading circle started to kind of play in my brain. Like, I needed to buffer for a second. And I looked down and I saw a $5 bill. This $5 bill. The very thing that I had asked for at the party to pay my rent. And I don't know. It was. There are some things in life, when they happen to you, I think it's once is chance, twice is coincidence, third is destiny, something like that. I forget what the saying is. But the fact that it was a $5 bill, the one thing I had needed to pay my rent, that I had asked a friend for, that I asked the universe for out in the ether of social media, because it could have been nothing, Could have been receipt paper, could have been a nickel, could have been a dime, could have been $1. But the fact that it was a $5 bill, the exact thing that I asked for, really struck me. And I just kind of laughed. I said, wow. I had asked for blessings, and I had asked for help, and I'd asked for guidance in talking to myself and walking in the dark back home, and after finally being able to pay my rent and take a little bit of the stress and the pressure off what had been going on recently in my life, so that little pressure release. And I really thought about it, and the more I thought about it, I started to get this feeling that maybe my lot in life is to take just little bits of the blessings that are given to me and spread them on and give them to help other people, and how great this world would be if we could do that, and give a little bit of the joy and the love that I've been shown, and give it to other people. I've tried to do that most of my life. I've tried to be a good person. But at this age, I'm going to be 42. For those of you fans of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, I'm reaching the age where maybe this is the answer to the universe and everything. Because 42 is the answer to the universe and everything, apparently. And in walking home, the more I thought about it, the more and this is the hard part to explain, because it's a feeling I can't quite articulate. It's like walking on air. My whole body felt lighter. You know, my mind cleared. I was still talking to myself and trying to wrap my head and going through the scenario of everything that had happened in the day up to that moment, and trying to figure out what, you know, what does that mean? Where do I take this? Where do I go? What does that mean? Does this mean that, like, should this be the way that I approach life going forward? You know, it's okay to ask the universe for help, and if you ask the universe for help and you get it, and you're able to use a little bit of that blessing that you've gotten and sort of, you know, three-man weave and pass it on to somebody else, is that my life from now on? And I came to the conclusion that yes it is. And it seemed like my world broadened, like a world that I knew was out there that I couldn't see had revealed itself, that the doors had swung wide. And I got very philosophical about it, because when I was younger, I was always dejected at the fact that I had worked minimum wage jobs, and I'd worked certain jobs for my entire life since I was a young kid. I was about 14, 15. And no matter how hard I worked, I still hadn't saved up enough for a house. You know, the car I got was a gift from my family. I didn't have the family and the white picket fence, the American dream idea. And I reconcile with that. It's not out of want that you live your life. It's out of need, out of the necessity of life. And money isn't a need. Money isn't an absolute. Money is not something to be hoarded, you know, like a dragon over a pile of gold, like, you know, the great dragon Smaug. It is merely a tool in order to help people. Now, I thank people for helping me out with finance. I know it makes me sound like a giant hypocrite in my head, you know, railing against money. Well, it's the one thing that in this capitalist society, that you need to pay bills, you need to do this, you need to do that. But I came to the realization that it's not the money that you need to pay the bills. It's the money that helps you pay for the things that can help you help others, if that makes any sense. My lot in life is never, I don't think, ever to have a big house, you know, and all the toys anybody could ask, and, you know, the suits, or, you know, fine clothing, or to always have my fridge stocked, packed full with food. But my goal in life now is to pass on a little bit of the blessings that I have and help those who are in need, not in want, but in need, the best that I can. And I finally, I got home still kind of floating on this cloud. I didn't want to go to sleep, so I haven't gone to sleep. I've been running this over and over in my head. Today, I decided to reflect on everything that had happened to me the night before, and stayed home and used some of the money to do laundry, and went out and had a meal, an actual, like, it wasn't a thrown together thing at my apartment or something that was taken out of the noshery at the Jewish Community Center. The noshery is the break room. I know, Jews and weird words. Or something left over from a banquet, or something that was given to me, and if you're hungry, I'm not going to finish the sandwich, here you go. I actually went out and had a meal and reflected on this. And I really don't ever want to lose this feeling now. I want to see where this goes. Now, it's new to me in that I don't have the answers on where this goes. I would love to follow this philosophy, this new world that has been opened up to me in everything I do. No matter how weird it makes me look, no matter how out of whack it turns me. The feeling of doing good, of a small act of kindness, is absolutely the best feeling in the world. Now, here, at this moment, I can categorically say it's better than any feeling I've ever had in my life. It's better than when I used to get drunk with friends and enjoy good times and then, get into a drunken stupor and laugh and sing karaoke. It's better than that. It's better than going on a first date and kissing the girl of my dreams, or better than sex. It's been a number of years. It's better than sex. Yes, I said it. Me. For those of you that knew me back in high school, yes, I said it. It's better than sex. It's better than any high I could ever be on. It's better than that swallow of wine after a long walk through the desert. So that's the way I'm going to live my life now. I'm not going to see money as the end-all, be-all. I'm going to see acts of kindness as the end-all, be-all. That anything I receive going forward, if I can use a portion of it to make somebody's life better, I will. Now, that was a very long-winded story, and I'm sure there are some people that have only watched maybe a minute or so of this. Some of you have completely turned it off and haven't gotten this far. If you have, thank you. I appreciate it. But at this point, the whole point of me telling you this story was the revelation that I received that now I'm going to give to you. Now, it doesn't, there's not going to be merchandise. I'm not going to be selling t-shirts and hats saying, be the light in someone's darkness or anything like that. I'm not going to ask for, or demand anything from anyone. I do have one simple request. Any blessings that you receive in this world, I ask you, if you have an empathetic voice in your head, follow it and pass those little blessings on whenever you can. Listen to the empathetic voice inside you. Now, it doesn't have to be money. It doesn't have to be buying somebody a big, expensive present or lavishing them with gifts or You know, getting a car when they turn 42. I'm kidding. It could be as easy as if you see somebody in the grocery store straining for that top shelf, and you know you can reach it to help them. Stop what you're doing and help them. If you see somebody trying to decide what to eat at a line in a restaurant or fast food place, and they kind of they don't quite know what they want, but they don't, you know, ask them. Say, hey, what are you thinking? I'm thinking of this. What do you want? What do you? If you can, if they don't seem to have the ability to pay for it, pay a little bit. A little bit. I'm not saying, you know, spend yourself into ruin trying to help somebody else, because there's a pot of gold waiting for you on the side of the road. But anytime that you have the ability to help somebody, to brighten someone's day, to be that light in their darkness, I ask you, I implore you, if it's the last thing I ever ask from anyone on this planet, please do it. Because these are dark and selfish times. And the easiest thing to do is get dejected and angry and blame, the entire world because of the money that some have and the money that some don't. It's kindness that we need in this world, not, we do need price cuts, we do need food, we need better ways to pay workers and better ways to pay struggling people and struggling families. But we don't need to pay for that so that people can have more things. We raise those rates, we allow people to pay for the things that allow them to help others. Pay forward that good feeling that a meal or a simple act of kindness can bring. That's what I ask of you. If you hear an empathetic voice in your mind and you see a situation where no matter how small, somebody drops a tissue after blowing their nose and they don't see it, them by picking it up and throwing it in the trash. Now, there are some people I know, as soon as I say that, I realize there's going to be some people who are going to say, it's not my responsibility. Why help others? Because, I'm focused on me, my grind, my hustle. No. Okay. That's fine. You can do whatever you want to. You can... I can just imagine the comments that are going to be on this video once it finally is posted. And that's okay. I'm not asking people to live their lives according to the path that I've been set on. But from first-hand experience, there are little miracles that can happen in this world if you take the joy that other people have shown you and share it with the world. That's wealth. That's true riches. That'd make me happier than $1 million. That really would. There are people out there who have millions and billions of dollars who have no empathy, who have no care in the world for the other people, whose sadistic nature, sadism, will cause them to tear apart businesses and build their own empire and stack all the toys they could ever want to and money on top of money till it reaches to the heavens, and look down on people, and that's joy, yeah. Because I'm at the top of the mountain, you're down there. Why should I pay for you? Because I have all my things. We can do better than these beliefs. We can do better. Humanity is not meant to just live our life buying things only to pass away and have them given to other people or thrown in a landfill somewhere. We're meant to help each other. We're meant to lift each other up. Money is a tool for that now. I believe that. Every little bit of acting kindness, every red cent should be put towards acts of kindness. And that's how I'm going to behave from now on. If I have the ability, if I ever work hard enough to receive a windfall, or am lucky enough to receive more than my fair share of my bounty, my goal in life is to reach that point where I can give back to others, where I can share the joy that has been given to me with others. I hope you do too. Thank you for letting me bend your ear. Take care. Keep on walking. And we'll see you again.